Hello everyone, I'm Eli Hollingsworth and I am joined by my brother
Jake Hollingsworth, and hello everyone, welcome to the Movie Majors YouTube channel. And here we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, which was a mediocre book nonetheless.
Yeah, the Book of Boba Fett has finished its first and probably only season.
I think there's season 2 teases, but potentially only one.
And it seems to have fans pretty mixed on it.
I know I'm mixed about it.
Yeah, me too.
There's some really good moments with some really good ideas, but there's also some bad moments with some not so well executed ideas.
It's just everyone can agree probably that the entire premise of the show is just not interesting enough to hook fans in and keep them engaged for 7 episodes, and even then 7 episodes is probably not enough. And yet
because the problem with I don't think 7 episodes was the problem. The problem was, like you said, they take way too long to set everything up in the first 4 episodes. And then episode 5 is Mandalorian season 3, and then episode 6 is the Star Wars show. And then episode 7, they rush to the finale of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
That the first 4 episodes set up. So it's a really weird, unfocused structure for a show.
Yeah, and there was no imminent threat throughout the entire show. I was just kind of like, what? Like, even in the episode 7 or 6 and 7, or just 7 actually, it was just kind of like,
okay. Yeah,
like what? Why are we trying to beat the Pikes? Because they're doing spice stuff.
They're running spice. I guess they don't like that.
Yeah,
they don't want things to be spicy. They prefer things without their spice.
Like I was just like, I said to Jake, and I was talking to all our friends, like the imminent threat of the show is just Boba Fett's like, oh, we should take out the Pikes because they're slightly annoying me a little bit. So if we have time, then maybe we should take them out. And then they start just blowing things up for no reason, and then the show just kind of rushes into the finale. And
they have a huge Mandalorian detour.
Yeah, and it just ends on a pretty sour note. And can we just talk about the ending real quick?
The ending was first. Also, they also bring Grogu back and have him and Mando reunite, which I think is way too soon. They should not have done that, because now going into season 3, they're back together. So that just shows they didn't trust it enough to go without having them back together.
Yeah, there's so many things wrong with this show.
The good thing, the highlights of this finale were Boba Fett riding a Rancor and getting King Kong references, which I never knew I wanted.
Boba Fett and Mando fighting together. That was
another
cool
highlight. And then Boba versus Cad Bane was actually really good.
Yeah.
It was sad. I thought it was satisfying, even though it's implying that Cad Bane's invincible and can never die. It was a good fight between the two of them.
It was fine. The fight itself wasn't even really that great. And he pulls this. Okay, so Boba Fett beats Cad Bane with his gaffy stick, which is supposed to be like, oh, look at what he's learned from the Tuskens.
It's paying off what he learned from the Tuskens.
Kind of, but they didn't exactly set that up a whole lot. But okay, so we have the finale then, right? And let's just play the ending shot of the show. This is it.
So the Wookiee gets a melon a weed, though.
Chrysanthemum, you want to share?
And it's Jake and I, after we saw it, we were just like, is this Sesame Street? Like, we just started laughing at it because we were just like,
well, this is the first ending. There's another one after this one, but
yeah, this is the
one.
Boba Fett ending, the ending to the show, that the main character of the show, and what was supposed to be the main focus, but really wasn't.
They lost interest in 5 and 6.
That's the conclusion to that, and it just is like a Disney Junior ending. It's just like
it's a Disney Junior CW Disney Channel type ending.
Like Fennec throws a Melu run to Chrysanthemum, and then
that's the end of the Star Wars part of it. Yeah. This is where it turns into CW Disney Channel Disney Junior. Just like style.
Ha ha ha, happily ever after ending. Like Chrysanthemum catches it, and then the biker Power Ranger guy goes, "Oh, what? We don't get fruit?" And then Fennec goes, "Chrysanthemum, do you want to share?" And he goes, "Rah!" And then they go, "Ha ha 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 ha!" As it pans up to the stars, and Jake and I were just like, "What is this?"
It's like, what?
This is so cheesy. Like, usually I'm a bit more lenient. Like, I'm 14 years old. Jake is 16 years old. We're a little bit more lenient to things that may go into a kiddie direction.
Yeah,
because we're younger.
Well, also the campy version, also the campy side, because
so we're
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies lean to the camp.
We're a little bit more lenient to this kind of thing. But this is just kiddie. Like, this is for toddlers.
In Star Wars.
Yeah.
They put this kind of thing in Star Wars. Doesn't make much sense. And then the better ending, the way more cooler ending, is Mando and Grogu flying off in their Naboo N1 starfighter. And then Grogu's like really wanting Mando to do the super speed thing. Mando keeps telling him no. And Grogu annoys him. He goes, fine, this is the last time. Then he hits the button and they super jump into...
Which, see, that just highlights how bad the show was, because that's the better ending, and it's the ending that's for Mandalorian, not for Boba Fett, not for the title character and what's supposed to be the main focus of the show. No, it's the character that's from a different show that was not supposed to be the main focus and kind of
better.
Would be a side character normally, but because they had zero interest in the plot that they set up in this show, the latter half...
They forgot to make Boba Fett interesting. They were so busy saying everything else, they forgot to make Boba Fett interesting.
Yeah, exactly. So, bottom line, there's a lot of problems with this
what
show.
happened to Boba Fett from Mandalorian Season 2? Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fett was awesome.
Yes.
He was amazing. And then here, what happened to him?
Yeah. There are just so many problems with this show. Its bottom line is just, it's a train wreck. So.
It's not, I didn't despise it. It's not terrible. It's just a mixed bag.
Yeah. So, a lot of fans have thrown out ideas on how to fix the Boba Fett. Or the Book of Boba Fett.
There are very clear ways to fix this.
There are obvious problems that need fixing. So, what Jake and I are going to attempt to do here today is to solve these problems by changing the focus of the show, removing basically all of the Mandalorian stuff that does not need to be there.
That's actually going to be one of my main points. Is for the first thing to fix this, take everything Mandalorian related out.
Yes.
Save that for third season of Mandalorian. I mean, I get it. You want to have your tie-ins because they're trying to build a connected a shared universe like what Marvel does. I get that, but to have you can have back if it's just one scene. The Mandalorian, just one scene. That's all you need. You didn't need to drag it out.
Yeah.
It was awesome, but just drag it out. But still, basically, the thing is, take everything Mandalorian out, or just at least limit it to one scene.
Fix number 1: take the Mandalorian out of this show. Doesn't need to be there. He's just extra, and just setting up Mandalorian season 3.
Save the Grogu and Mando reunion from Mandalorian season 3.
Yes.
Why didn't you just do that? Now it's just way too soon.
So fix number 1: Mandalorian is out of this show, and Mandalorian season 3. What the structure of that will be. The whole season is Mando trying to find Grogu, and then the season finale is him actually reuniting with Grogu. That would
have worked so much better.
A better structure.
I mean, not to say that Mandalorian season 3 is going to be bad. Not to say that we're not excited for Mandalorian season 3. Of course we are. It's just they brought back Grogu too soon. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so what I've written out a few notes that I want to about how to. My pitches and my ideas on how to fix the Book of Boba Fett, but I haven't cleared out everything, just haven't locked it in yet. So Jake and I are just going to be kind of spitballing a little bit too, room for extra speculation and ideas and stuff, and even let us know in the comments what your ideas to how to fix the Boba Fett. Do you agree with our pitches?
The Boba Fett?
I keep calling it the Boba Fett. It's the Book of Boba Fett. So what are your pitches to fix it? Do you agree with our pitches? Let us know in the comments down below. So the first thing I want to do is, obvious problem here is that they wanted to do two things. They wanted to do the flashbacks, and they wanted to do Boba as the ruling leader of Mos Espa.
Well, I mean, the flashbacks is actually a good idea, but the flashbacks were just boring.
Yeah.
We didn't need to know. I don't think the Sarlacc one, I give that one a pass. The Sarlacc and the Fennec one, I give a pass because that was interesting enough, to see how that happened. Sarlacc one gets a bigger pass because everyone had been wanting to know that.
Yeah.
And then the Fennec one gets a decent pass, I guess, but still. So, other flashbacks, the Tusken Raider plotline could have done without.
Yeah, they wanted to do two things. They wanted to do Boba as establishing his rule in Mos Espa, and they wanted to do the storyline of Boba realizing the meaning of family and loyalty with the Tuskens. But you can't have both. Both ideas are interesting enough on their own, but put together was not a very good choice.
One of them ended up stealing screen time from the other. Was the problem?
Exactly. They were both feeding off of each other and ruining
fighting
each
for
other.
Screen time.
They're just ruining each other.
And it got to the point where one episode, one was more dominant than the other, and another episode, one was more, and vice versa.
Yeah. So my plan so far from what I pitched for the Book of Boba Fett is remove the flashback storyline. Now, a lot of people would argue that that was the better storyline, but
it might have been actually.
I think it would be more interesting to focus on the main timeline, but change up a few things, make it a little bit more interesting. So remove the flashback story and make that like one or two flashbacks throughout the
Keep the
show.
Sarlacc pit one. That's the only one to keep.
So the Sarlacc pit is going to be actually in the last episode. In the last episode will be the reveal of how Boba Fett escaped the Sarlacc pit. Because that adds a little level of intrigue that keeps people hooked and keeps them interested in watching the show. The first thing they did was get the biggest question that people were asking out of the way in the actual Book of Boba Fett. How did Boba Fett escape the Sarlacc pit? They immediately revealed that, and so immediately the hook was gone. We were not interested anymore because our biggest question had been answered. So, saving that until the last episode, and it will actually tie in more to the story because what I've put together here is a much more dense and complex storyline than what is actually in the show, in the main timeline. And every episode, we will get a little scene where we flash back to a moment in Boba's history as it relates to what is going on in real time in the episode. So, first thing, at the end of the episode, Cad Bane will be introduced. Cad Bane comes in the first episode, not the second to last episode at the end, just to be killed off in the episode after. That was a dumb choice.
Was he killed off, though? Because his thing was blinking.
Yeah, whatever that was.
If he's alive, and that implies that he's invincible and can never die.
Yeah. So
just kill him.
Yeah, just die.
If they bring him back, I'll probably be happy, but still, if he comes back, I'll be like, just kill him.
Yeah. So the first scene of episode 1, Boba Fett is waking up out of a bacta tank because he's still having to heal from the Sarlacc pit. I'm keeping that element because that's a good way. That's a good way to have flashbacks.
Like a bantha.
Yeah, like a bantha.
That even annoys me.
So the bacta tanks are still a good story tool to add in these flashbacks because each episode will have a different flashback from a different point of Boba's life.
Please, that one made. I think that's what I was actually going to say. That would have made the flashbacks way more interesting if they were in different points in the timeline. Because I didn't really care about in between Return of the Jedi and Mandalorian. I wanted to know like in between like 3 and 4.
Yeah.
Like come on, like go in between like Revenge of the Sith or New Hope, but like go back to like original trilogy time frame. I want to see that Boba Fett, like Boba Fett in his prime, but
exactly.
No, we go back like 5 years.
Yeah. So the
like
opening
10.
scene, Boba Fett is waking up out of the bacta tank, which he's still having to heal from, and he immediately wants to establish his rule in Mos Espa as the new ruler. So he goes to Madame Garsa's tavern, bar, place, whatever that is, and this Boba Fett has not yet learned the loyalty and whatever he learned with the Tuskens to be more teddy bearish, which I think people didn't like as much. But it is a cool idea if Boba Fett earns it. So he hasn't earned that yet. He's not at that point yet. Right now, he's a little bit more resentful, a little bit more filled with rage from being in the Sarlacc pit and almost dying. So he's a little bit more rageful in the opening of the show. So he goes to establish his rule in Madame Garsa's tavern place where she is. And he's a little bit more forceful with it. Like he threatens her tavern and he threatens the people of Mos Espa. And immediately it creates this disconnect between him and the people of Mos Espa to where they don't fully trust him as their leader. And throughout the course of the show, there's going to be this kind of civil war that's happening with the people of Mos Espa to where no one's really trusting each other, no one's really on each other's side. And now that Bib Fortuna is gone, they don't really trust Boba Fett either because he immediately is coming in, establishing his rule very forcefully, threatening the people of Mos Espa, being very rude and unkind to them. So they immediately don't trust him as their leader, especially after Bib Fortuna, who was not a very good daimyo either. So throughout the course of the show, there's going to be the civil war between... I haven't really decided two people. The Pikes, you could say, yes, the Pikes are still going to be a big part of the show. So the Pikes and the people of Mos Espa. The Pikes are a big problem because they're running their spice trade through the city, and it's actually causing harm to the people because they are... What could they be doing that's bad, Jake? What could they be doing?
The Pikes?
Yeah, the Pikes. What are they doing?
Genius idea.
What?
The Pikes and the Crimson Dawn are about to go to war over Tatooine, like, territories.
Well, Yeah, well, Crimson Dawn, I definitely want.
No, better idea, even better idea than that. To elaborate on that idea is because they heard that Tatooine, that Java's property is up for grabs. In a way, they think like they could both like want Java's territory. And they could fight over. They could fight over it. It'll be a 3-way fight on over who gets Java's territory. I can't talk.
Well, no, okay, so yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, so the main conflict of the show is going to be between Boba Fett and the Pikes are under Crimson Dawn. So the Pikes and Crimson Dawn are going to be scratch the whole spice thing because that was kind of dumb anyway. The Pikes and Crimson Dawn are going to be fighting with Boba Fett for control of Mos Espa. And
Another
the people.
Thing, remove the Power Ranger bike people. Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, no, they're dumb. Get them out of here. So the Pikes and Crimson Dawn are both going to be fighting with Boba Fett over Mos Espa. And the people of Mos Espa don't trust the Pikes or Boba Fett. Not yet, until the end of the show, when Boba Fett will eventually win their trust because he learns his lesson about loyalty and trust and yada yada yada. Through use of fighting. Let's see. Because Boba Fett was an outlaw. He was a bounty hunter. He was just working from job to job. He didn't have any specific loyalty to anyone except for the highest bidder. So, yeah.
Genius idea. Next episode, someone asks him about how he knows Cad Bane, and then flashback to that unused Clone Wars unused Clone Wars arc from when they had their famous duel.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, that could be.
And cast Daniel Logan in Young Boba Fett role. Young Boba Fett role for that flashback. So I wanted that so bad, but the show didn't do it.
So the premise of the show is going to be this war between Crimson Dawn and Boba Fett, and Cad Bane is going to be working for the Pikes, and we won't know that it's Crimson Dawn behind everything until like about halfway through the show.
Like chapter 4.
Yeah, like that's when we learn that the Crimson Dawn is behind
the Pikes.
This whole like war thing. And Kira will be introduced at like the end of, I don't know, episode
2.
No, not the end of episode 2. We can't learn that yet. Like episode 4.
Yeah.
To kind of like lead us as we go into the latter half of this show and into the third act of it. So the first act is going to be episodes 1 and 2, where Boba Fett's establishing his rule over Mos Espa very forcefully, and the people don't trust him yet.
Bane's revealed in episode 1.
Bane is revealed to be working for Crimson Dawn or the Pikes or whoever, trying to also establish their rule over, or also trying to gain control of Mos Espa.
Chapter 2 have flashbacks with Cad Bane in them.
Yeah, chapter 1 have...
because those were needed in the actual show, but they didn't do it.
Yeah, so chapter 2...
I will never forgive them for that, honestly.
Chapter 1, Cad Bane comes in and is like, hey, we're going to try and take over this too. And then Boba Fett's obviously pretty mad about that. And Fennec, so the growth that Boba Fett will have over this show is learning how to trust and be loyal to people and not just be alone and a loner. And Fennec's journey throughout the show, not exactly sure how, and maybe, again, you guys can let us know in the comments and give your own suggestions and thoughts. But Fennec will learn to be more independent because Boba Fett saved her life and fixed her up with the mods, which will probably be another flashback somewhere in the show. She has now like devoted her life to serving Boba Fett because he saved her life, but throughout the course of the show, she learns to be more independent and And it's not like a betrayal of like going back on her word. Like she gave her word that she would be loyal to Boba Fett, and she still is loyal to Boba Fett, but she's also loyal to other people as well besides just Boba Fett. So Fennec gets an arc throughout the show as well as Boba Fett, who you could say becomes more teddy bearish by the end of the show. But again, like Boba Fett says, it makes him stronger. And also throughout the course of the show, we will have flashbacks to the Tuskens, like one scene of a flashback to the Tuskens. And them teaching him a little bit about that too. But he didn't fully learn his lesson with the Tuskens, unlike how it is in the actual Boba Fett show. Or the Book of Boba Fett. So episodes 1 and 2 is the first act establishing, the threat and what's going to be happening. And then, I guess Kira...
Episode 3 is Kira revealed.
Well, yeah, episode 2... can be Crimson Dawn reveal. Like, episode 1 is just the Pikes and Cad Bane in general.
Episode 2 is Cad Bane flashbacks, and then Crimson Dawn reveal.
Yeah.
Chapter 3, Kira reveal. Dun, dun, dun.
And then Boba Fett learns that he needs to get, like, I don't know. So what is... Because Boba Fett's going to need to gain the trust of the people of Mos Espa. But I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do that. Like, what is the event that's going to be?
Crimson Dawn starts like burning down like buildings and taking them over to like get ready to go to war, get ready to attack Jabba's palace and whatnot, or Boba's palace.
Yeah, and then because then how does Boba? Because Boba is again like filled with a little bit of resent and anger and like hatred at this point, and he slowly starts learning to trust the people of Mos Espa, but like how exactly that happens is unclear to me as of now. Again, maybe you guys can give your suggestions down below in the comments, but like, so Boba Fett.
So chapter 3, Kira is revealed, and so he realizes he needs to need help. So chapter 4 is Boba Fett going to round up some old bounty hunter buddies.
Yeah, we need more bounty hunters in the show. Like,
that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
I think some people might know where I'm going with this. Chapter 4, he recruits Bosk.
Yes, exactly.
Bosk should have been in this show.
That was a big
missed opportunity. I was so mad that Bosk wasn't in it.
Yeah, because like there was rumor that there were going to be Funko Pops of him, and like there was so many other rumors.
That was going to be in it, but no, it was just Trandoshans, but no Bosk himself. That was a big missed opportunity.
That was so unfortunate.
At least we still got Cad Bane, which is awesome, but still. Yeah. So chapter 4, Bosk shows up. And then he also maybe goes for Dengar too.
Yeah, round up some old bounty hunter buddies because he knows he's gonna need an army to face off against Crimson Dawn because he knows that he doesn't want Mos Espa to be completely destroyed. Like he still cares a little bit about them, so he knows he got to round up some old bounty hunter buddies.
Chapter 4, he established Bosk and like him like because like in the Boba Fett comics he did like burn off his legs. So like chapter 4 can be about them like Chapter 4 can be about them reconnecting and Boba convincing Bosk to come with him.
Yeah.
Chapter 5, he goes after Dengar. And then Chapter 6, I know we already presented this, but Chapter 6 is bring in Mandalorian.
Chapter 6, well, okay. Yeah.
I know we kind of already resented this, but I feel like we kind of should do it.
Yeah,
Chapter
but not
6,
give a whole
6,
episode.
Bring in Mando, but don't devote a whole thing. Have like 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah. But give and then
put
also
Mandalorian in very much a guest star side character role. Don't make it the main focus of everything. So because let's review. Chapter 1 is the intro, and then with the Pikes, and then you have Cad Bane. Chapter 2, Cad Bane flashbacks, and then reveal Crimson Dawn. Chapter 3, more flashbacks, and then no flashbacks. Chapter 3, no flashbacks, and then reveal Kira. Chapter 4, go get Bosk flashbacks. Chapter 5, go get Dengar flashbacks. Chapter 6, get Mando. And then there's 7, 8 left.
Well, okay, so the book of Boba Fett, I think that throughout the show there should be these like bounty hunter, low-life people who are kind of like how Boba Fett was, except not as like famous and like living the high life as Boba Fett was before he went
underdog bounty hunters.
So like these low-lives, criminals type characters who are kind of like looking for like what Boba Fett was, like a bounty hunter. And throughout the course of the show, like Crimson Dawn starts killing them in like episodes 4 or 5 and something. And so Boba Fett then goes and like episode 7 and like 6, he rallies all of these low-lives and bounty hunters together and really gets an army against all of Crimson Dawn's forces. And that's what the big finale of the show is Boba Fett teaming up with all of these people who have all been on their own for most of their lives, all banding together and forming a bond to go against Crimson Dawn and save this territory and this home that they've had forever. And Boba Fett, and this is where we get the flashback to Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc pit
in chapter 7.
Yeah, and this is going to be the last episode, or are we going to add another episode to it?
This is going to be the last one.
Okay, yeah. So sticking with the 7-episode format. So this is the big finale. Boba Fett, Mando, Dengar, other bounty hunters, all of them rally together.
Mando, Fennec. Not Mando first. Boba, Fennec, Mando, Bosk, Dengar, and then a bunch of lowlights versus. Do you want Kira involved in this fight or no?
Kira will like kind of be the person in the shadows.
Okay,
right?
Kira's in the shadows, and then versus the Crimson Dawn Pikes, and then Cad Bane's kind of hiding in the background because we're gonna see.
Well, no. So in the finale, we get the shoot off or the showdown.
Yeah, so basically, Cad Bane's kind of been hired by Kira. And then in the final episode of Chapter 7, Kira kind of gives Cad Bane the go-ahead to finally go after Boba.
Yeah, so, and I think what would be interesting, and let me know if you don't like this, but I think it would be interesting to see Cad Bane get kind of a redemption in the finale. Like, Boba makes amends with Cad Bane because Boba has learned his lesson about loyalty, and he teaches it to Cad Bane and shows him kind of where he's been wrong his whole life and how Boba Fett's life has changed, and then Cad Bane actually, they have a showdown, and
Cad Bane has a purpose, has more purpose than just working for idiots who are going to get him killed.
Yeah, and Boba Fett and Cad Bane, they duke it out. They have a battle, and they both almost die, but Boba Fett shows Cad Bane the light, and he gets a little redemption arc in there, and learns the same lesson that Boba Fett did, and this is when we get the flashback to Boba Fett getting out of the Sarlacc pit, and this is when Cad Bane gets a redemption arc, and then...
Redemption, and then he fights alongside him, and then Cad Bane. Should Cad Bane die?
A sacrifice would be pretty good, actually. That would add, yeah. If Cad Bane dies, because not just like a random death with a measly showdown.
Because we would have already done the flashback to that canceled Clone Wars scene.
Yeah.
So we would have already seen the shootout, and we would have seen the dent. Put in Boba Fett's helmet. So then they just have a normal hand-to-hand fight, and then here Cad Bane gets redempted, and then he gets killed.
You know what? Yeah, Kira should be in this final fight. In the finale, Kira shows up. That's the little kicker that we need to be like, whoa, this is the finale now.
We think things are calming down, then Kira comes in with more people as Cad Bane's redeemed.
Yeah, so then they don't kill Kira, obviously. But so they take out Kira, they send her running, like she escapes. But not before killing Cad Bane, of course.
Yeah, Cad Bane dies.
Should Kira have a lightsaber? No.
No.
That's dumb.
No.
What about the little dagger things that that Vision had? Dryden Voss.
She actually uses this. Okay, I like that idea. This is actually the same ones that Dryden Voss used, implying that when Dryden Voss died, she took those knives.
So Cad Bane, he's fast with the blaster and everything, but Kira's really good at hand-to-hand combat, so she
kills him.
Yeah.
Bane dies.
And he's old and fragile. So
he got shot in the head. Also,
he has a cybernetic.
He clearly got shot in the head. We all know he got shot in the head. We all know that unfinished scene is real now.
And it will be if this would ever come to be, which it won't. But
with Daniel Logan and young Boba Fett, come on, Filoni, just release those canceled episodes. Just finish those canceled episodes and release them. Come on, just do it. Everyone wants to see it.
So it's the big finale. All the bounty hunters. Boba Fett learns his lesson.
So Cad Bane gets redeemed, dies, and then they have a little memorial for him. And then for his little tombstone, they put his hat on his tombstone.
Yeah.
No, being serious.
Well, yeah, I know, but yeah. So Mando goes his separate ways to go find Grogu because he doesn't meet up with Grogu.
Because it's a Chapter 7. Because that was something we should have established that. We should have established that as a ground rule. Keep it to the Chapter 7 format.
Yeah.
So there's only 7 chapters. In this final one, Mando goes out to find Grogu in his Naboo starfighter.
Because he doesn't.
Well, and don't show him getting the Naboo starfighter. Just say he's had it for a while. Don't show. I mean, although that kind of fix up the old car plot was cool. Just here, don't show it. Just don't show it here.
I mean, yeah, episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett was great
because it was Mandalorian season 3.
But
basically.
And then maybe there can be some overlap in Mando season 3. Like it begins and midway through the season is when he meets up with Boba Fett and we kind of get the Boba Fett parts from his perspective, and then he goes and finds Grogu and meets up with him.
That'd be cool.
The end, but. And the episodes in the Book of Boba Fett were great. And when Mando and Grogu reunited in the finale...
That was amazing.
I immediately teared up because I was just... Because you're already so invested in their relationship and their scenes together are so good.
But I think there's also them realizing that there's such a pivotal piece of the show that they can't split them up.
Yeah, so Mando goes off to find Grogu at the end of this version, the fan version of the Book of Boba Fett.
And then at the end of this one, people finally respect him and Boba Fett sits on his throne. And I guess you could say that Vosk and Dengar hang around with him as kind of his enforcers, along with Fett.
Along with these low lives people this actual army that he builds to fight Crimson Dawn, to add a bit more stakes, add a bit more scope.
So his low life army of thugs is still around, and he also keeps Fennec as his bodyguard, and then Vosk and Dengar his lead enforcers.
Or he gives the low lives money to get actual jobs and become real citizens and stuff. And now the people of Mos Espa trust Boba for whatever means. We haven't exactly hammered out all the kinks yet of how exactly all of this plays out, but we know how it ends. And
the actual intrigue of Boba Fett getting out the Sarlacc and how exactly will people be asking that question.
And maybe you guys can fill in some of the blanks in the comments. That would be interesting to hear.
The one thing I would want to see is just that Clone Wars unfinished episode to come out.
Yeah.
In the flashback. In live action.
So we don't get no dumb Disney Junior ending where they're like,
Instead we get the like epic shot of him just sitting down with like people walking in the background, and then like Fennec, Dengar, and Voss all had like at his side as he's sitting down.
Boba Fett sits on his throne, fully in command, fully in control.
He makes amends with Madame Garsa, paying off the first episode.
Yeah, she doesn't die. I mean, maybe.
No, keep her alive.
Maybe her tavern has a new boss.
Yeah.
Her tavern has a new boss. That would be good. And so he sits down on his throne, and then that's where the show ends. And I think, and what should we set up next? What should be the next? And I don't think Cobb Vanth should be in it at all.
Okay, fine. I like Cobb Vanth to leave him out.
Yeah, because there is the Cobb Vanth.
There's no, because like if we're doing the low-light thing, there's no point in bringing in Freetown. So
yeah,
I guess we can just leave that plot line out.
That can be for Mando season 3 in this alternate universe.
Yeah. What if scenario? So
there could be something else set up. Like I guess Kira. Like
set up a Mandalorian. Yeah, set up something with Kira. I guess set up a season 2 for Boba Fett. I guess
maybe because this is an interesting enough scenario to keep going with it.
They should have hired us to write this for them.
Yeah, we can come up with better ideas than actual professional Hollywood writers. At least in my opinion, I think they're better. Yeah. But maybe some people in the comments won't.
They could have worked on it with us to like get like everything hammered out, and make everything work.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments. What do you think about our pitches? Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Do you want to see more pitches like this? I'm sure there's other movies, like not just like movies that have come out that are coming out. I'm sure there's other movies in the past that are bad that we could fix.
Yeah.
There's some. I'm thinking. There's some ones in particular that I'm thinking of right now. That'd be fun to do a fixed pitch for.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So
let us know if you want more videos like this, and let us know if you want more videos on this channel other than just live streams.
Yeah, and let us know. We might do a part 2 to this, adding in if you guys comment down below and share your thoughts. We might do a part 2 to this and add in some of the ideas that you guys suggest in the comments. That would be cool.
And let us know if you want to do like stuff like other things like this, like actual like. If you know, like, yeah, let us know if you want other videos like this, like pitches, fan casts, whatever you guys think would be cool.
But most importantly, Jake, what do they do?
Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Be sure to go follow our podcast, the Movie Majors podcast. Be sure to check out the Xbox podcast I have with Eli Spencer. Be sure to check out the Spectacular Spider-Nerd podcast I have with myself. Be sure to go check out Nostalgia Freaks, Minecraft Madness, and keep watching this YouTube channel. Let us know if you want more videos like this. And we'll see you guys on the other side.
Like a panther.
I still don't like that meme.